At midnight, the boss showed unexpected heart, then insisted, "Repeat it," looking into my eyes. Leah's heart raced as the heavy diner door swung shut behind Mr. Thompson. The scent of burnt toast hung in the air, mixing with the bitter bite of coffee that wound its way through the tired establishment. This was no ordinary night. The chatter of the late-night crowd faded away, leaving behind only the murmurs of worried employees and the flickering neon lights. The recent fire at May's bakery etched dread into Leah's chest. All her dreams for the upcoming community bazaar were collapsing faster than the flames had consumed the local bakery. "Everyone, gather round!" Mr. Thompson barked, his voice cutting through the silence. The forceful tone sent a jolt through the small group of waitresses and cooks. His veteran's eyes glinted with authority, but tonight they seemed a little softer, carrying shadows of hidden battles. Leah, her hands trembling around her coffee cup, felt an involuntary urge to speak up, but her voice quivered in her throat. As they encircled him, Leah noticed the weariness in her co-workers' faces, a collective struggle against the weight of bills, children, and faint flickers of hope. She swallowed hard, almost feeling the uncertainty wrap its heavy arms around her. Would they truly pull together in the face of this disaster? Then came the confession, unexpected and raw. Mr. Thompson's eyes locked onto Leah's with a captivating intensity. "I lost friends in the war, and I feel this place slipping through my fingers, but I won't sit back and watch it burn." A wave of vulnerability washed over him, and Leah's pulse quickened. He continued, "This bazaar means everything. It's not just about sales. It's about us, doing it together." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With nerves still coursing through her, Leah stepped forward. "What if we rally everyone in town? Get donations, collect what we can?" Her voice was shaking, fear and determination intertwined. Mr. Thompson's eyes locked onto hers, and with an unwavering intensity he commanded, "Repeat it," looking into my eyes. And in that moment, everything changed. Leah clutched her heart, her breath catching in her throat. Unable to look away, she saw not just a hardened boss, but a fellow soldier of struggle, a man who loved this town fiercely. "We can't let it go. We will fight back," she found herself saying, each word igniting the delicate fire within her. As the night unfolded, ideas began to flow like the coffee pouring into chipped mugs. The atmosphere shifted, each small voice piled on top of another, building hope as they spoke of local acts, silent auctions, and rallying townsfolk. Walls, once thick with despair, began to crumble. Leah could feel connections intensifying, laughter broke barriers. Perhaps the collective might could overcome the divisions bred from hardship. But as hope soared, doubt lingered, casting a shadow over Leah's renewed resolve. Could they really unite the community? Could she transform her life and the lives of those around her? As the clock approached 3, Leah glanced around, catching Mr. Thompson's steely gaze, softened with something almost tender. There was still work to be done, and time wasn't on their side. But deep within her heart, she knew this was just the beginning. The future lay on the cusp of a decision, yet to be pursued. The next morning, the diner buzzed with energy. Sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. Leah stood behind the counter, vulnerable as she rehashed the events of last night. Her heart still fluttered as she imagined Mr. Thompson's eyes locked onto hers, the way he challenged her. The conversation had ignited something in her, a flicker of possibility she never thought she could feel. "Coffee refills," she called, serving mugs to the early morning crowd, heart hammering with nervous excitement. Patrons chuckled at her enthusiasm, unaware of the storm brewing within her. Could they really pull off this bazaar? As if sensing her thoughts, Michael, her co-worker from the kitchen, leaned against the counter. "You're quieter than usual, Leah. You thinking about that fire?" He tipped his head, concern etched on his face. I just can't shake this feeling," she replied, her voice low. "We need to do something. We can't let this place sink without a fight." Every word felt like a promise, a call to arms. He nodded, determination replacing any signs of doubt. "You're right. If we want this to work, it needs to start today. I can help with some of the cooking. We need that home-cooked angle to draw people in." Leah's heart swelled. She wasn't alone in this. Word spread quickly. Soon others approached, one by one, offering their help. Martha, the elderly waitress, offered to create flyers, while young Tommy volunteered to spread the word at school. The concept of community began to bloom, feeding off her newfound belief. "Let's meet tonight," Leah suggested, feeling the weight of responsibility thrum in her veins. "We need to decide on the details, the vendors, everything." Excitement rippled through the group, faces lighting up as they imagined what this could be. By the time evening fell, the diner filled with more than just local patrons. It overflowed with laughter, chatter, and ideas. Leah stood in the center, watching as everyone shared their visions. People were ready to fight for May's Bakery, and for themselves. As conversations blended into plans, she felt a surge of confidence. Every suggestion felt like a pebble in a rock, each building upon the last. Music, a pie-eating contest, a local art showcase. They were going to do this. But then something shifted. Leah noticed Mr. Thompson standing by the entrance, his expression unreadable. He watched them with a weight that seemed heavier than the world outside. Instinctively, Leah's pulse quickened. What was he thinking? Had she misread his encouragement? "Leah," he called softly as the meeting came to a close. The crowd turned silent, eyes darting from him to her. She felt her cheeks heat. Would he bring them back down to reality? Would he stop everything before it even began? "Your passion is—" He paused, gathering thoughts while a nervous hush fell over the crowd. "Contagious. Just remember, we've got to chase our dreams wisely. Realize what's at stake." Leah nodded, her heart in turmoil. She understood what he meant. It wasn't just about survival. It was about community. This was deeper than just a fundraiser. It was about connections, a lifeline. As he left the diner, Leah felt an electric charge in the air. Their meeting had changed everything, but uncertainty hung like an unwelcome guest. Could they truly turn the tide? The next morning would be pivotal, and her resolve would be tested. Would the community rally together when push came to shove? Time would tell. But deep down, Leah felt an urge rising within her. If they were going to fight, they would need all hands on deck, starting with her own. With a racing heart and hopeful breaths, she began to plan what came next. The challenge was vast, but made her feel more alive than ever. And there was still one lingering question in her mind. What was she really willing to risk for this town? As dawn broke over the small town, the air was crisp and alive with promise. Leah stood in front of the diner, the morning sun peeking over the horizon, casting a warm glow that wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. Today was the day. She could feel the anticipation buzzing in her veins as she opened the door. The smell of freshly brewed coffee welcomed her in. Michael was already behind the counter, flipping pancakes and humming to himself. Leah joined him, her heart racing with excitement. "Big day ahead," she chirped, grabbing the coffee pot. "Best thing to wake up for," he replied, a grin spreading across his face. The diner felt transformed, buzzing with a sense of purpose that hadn't been there before. By mid-morning, the place was filled with patrons, familiar faces who brought with them a wave of memories. It felt like they were all part of a larger story, one Leah wanted desperately to write. She darted from table to table, engaging with customers, sharing the news about the bazaar. Their responses were a mix of nostalgia and eagerness. "Count me in for the pie-eating contest," shouted Mr. Jenkins, the town's resident jokester. Laughter erupted as he mimicked a pie-laden face, and Leah couldn't help but join in the laughter, her spirits bolstered. But amid the light-hearted moments, Leah suddenly felt a weight blanket her. She glanced toward the door, and there he was again, Mr. Thompson. She couldn't shake the feeling that he was watching her, observing every move she made. She tried to dismiss it. Today was about her community, not about her feelings for him. As lunchtime rolled around, Leah's adrenaline surged. The drinks flowed, orders were filled, and everything felt like it was falling into place. But just as she was ready to take a small break, a crisp bell rang above the entrance. "Here's the final count for the pies." Tommy burst through the door, a piece of paper clutched in his hand. His cheeks flushed with excitement. "We're already at 20 pies. 20! That's amazing!" Leah exclaimed, her heart soaring. It was the kind of momentum she hoped would ignite everyone's involvement. They were building something special, layer by layer. The rest of the day became a flurry of activity. They decorated the diner, adding homemade banners and signs. Everyone contributed, from strung lights to makeshift tables. Amid the chaos, Leah took a moment to step outside, needing to breathe in fresh air and absorb everything that was happening. "You're doing great work." Mr. Thompson stepped out from the shadows, leaning against the wall, his eyes locked onto hers. The moment felt electric, every sound around them fading into silence. She swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. "We're trying to make a difference. It's time for this town to come together." He nodded, a flicker of admiration sparking in his gaze. "But remember, Leah, it's more than just the event. It's about how you connect with these people beyond today, and how you connect with yourself." Leah felt her breath hitch. Did he know what lay beneath her enthusiasm? "I'm trying to get them to see what we can do together." "Then you need to lead with your heart," he whispered, his voice barely above a murmur, intimate and sincere. "People follow those who inspire." There was something in his tone, a softness mixed with challenge that sent a thrill through her. Leah's heart raced. Could she really inspire? Could they come together and fight for something so precious? But his words lingered in her mind. It was more than just the event. As he turned to leave, she called out, "Will you come? To the bazaar?" He paused, looking back over his shoulder. "Only if you promise to keep your heart open. It might just surprise you." And with that, he was gone. The challenge before her swelled in scope, a tidal wave of emotion washing over her. She felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, but alongside it, the burning fire of hope. What did it truly mean to lead with her heart, and what risks would that entail? Today was just the beginning, the first step into a journey Leah never knew she had in her. With renewed determination, she stepped back inside the diner, ready to shape this day into something unforgettable. But as she looked around, she noticed some familiar faces lingering at the windows. Were they hesitant, or just curious? Would they join her? As their eyes met, Leah felt another shift within her. The real battle was just beginning. Would she muster the courage to bring everyone along for this ride? The sun dipped low, painting the diner in soft golden hues that felt almost magical. Leah looked around, taking in the scattered conversations and laughter echoing against the walls. Each voice was a thread weaving them all together, but her heart was still tangled in uncertainty. She caught Mr. Thompson watching her from the corner booth, and a flutter of nerves danced in her stomach. "Hey, Leah!" Michael's cheerful voice broke her focus. He was wiping his hands on a dish towel, and his smile was infectious. "All we need now is for you to rally the troops. You seem to have that magic touch." A small grin broke through Leah's tension. "Yeah, I guess I just needed to step back for a bit." "Don't overthink it. You've got this," he said, giving her an encouraging nudge in the shoulder. His confidence bolstered her spirits, even if for just a moment. The diner clock ticked steadily, and as the minutes turned into hours, the energy shifted. Excitement mingled with apprehension. Leah felt it in her chest, a swelling hope mixed with a fear of failure. She wondered if Mr. Thompson could see right through her smiles, into the fears she hadn't voiced yet. Suddenly, the door swung open, and the wind brought a gust of chill with it. A group of teenagers rushed in, laughing and shouting. "We heard about the bazaar. Can we work here to help?" One girl called out, her eyes sparkling. Heart racing at the unexpected enthusiasm, Leah nodded eagerly. "Of course. We need all the hands we can get." The offer sparked a flame within her, igniting the belief that maybe, just maybe, they could pull this off together. "Awesome," another boy said, rushing to the counter. "We'll set up the tables and decorations." As they sprang into action, Leah felt her heart warm. Each contribution added strength to her cause, and she began to see the outlines of their plans taking shape. But in the back of her mind, the familiar shadow of doubt crept in again. She glanced at Michael, who encouraged her to engage with the new volunteers. "Okay, everyone, let's brainstorm. What do we want this bazaar to represent?" Leah raised her voice so everyone gathered around could hear. The chatter began. Ideas buzzed energetically, some wild and imaginative, others practical. Pie contests, craft stalls, a community talent show. Each suggestion wrapped itself in Leah's mind, propelling her forward. She felt the collective heartbeat of the town flowing through her. And for the first time, anxiety began to dissolve into excitement. But just as the atmosphere began to morph, confusion hit her like a tidal wave. A loud commotion erupted outside, and the laughter quickly dwindled to murmurs of concern. Leah ran over to the window and peered outside. A small crowd had gathered, whispering frantically. Her stomach knotted as she pushed the door open. "What's going on?" she called to the nearest group, her palms sweaty. "There was a car accident just down the road," an elderly woman replied, her voice trembling. "They say it's bad. People are gathering to help." Adrenaline coursing through Leah's veins, she knew she couldn't just stand there. "Come on, we need to help." Her voice rang out, bold and urgent, cutting through the uncertainty. "Let's grab supplies, blankets, anything we can offer, and let's see if we can help the families in need." With newfound determination, Leah turned to her fellow diner staff and volunteers. "This is where we build our community. Let's show them what we can do together right now." The energy shifted once more, swirling with purpose. They sprang into action, gathering supplies and hitting the road, each heart pounding with the spirit of solidarity. As Leah joined them, she caught a glimpse of Mr. Thompson at the front of the crowd, his eyes filled with admiration mixed with a hint of surprise. This was what it meant to lead with her heart, she realized, a community stepping up when it mattered most. The world felt vast and intimidating, yet here, in this moment, Leah found the strength not just to inspire but to truly connect with everyone around her. But amid the chaos and the urgent steps toward the accident scene, Leah felt a flicker of fear deep within her. What if their efforts weren't enough? What if they didn't know how to respond? As they rounded the corner, the scene came into view, leaving Leah breathless. Would she be able to find the right words to comfort those in distress? A new testament of courage was about to unfold, one that would test their resolve and strength in unexpected ways. Would they truly be able to come together when it mattered the most? The chaos of the scene unfolded before Leah like a nightmare, each detail sharpening her focus. The sound of sirens whirred in the distance, a relentless reminder of the urgency. A crumpled car lay at the side of the road, steam rising from its hood like smoke from a battlefield. People were gathered, some in shock, others trying to lend a hand where they could. Leah's heart raced as she approached the crowd, her palms still clammy. How had this happened? Could she do enough? She glanced at the faces around her, hoping they'd share her determination. "Let's split up," Michael shouted, pulling Leah from her daze. "We need more people to organize things properly. Leah, you can lead a team to check in on the families." Swallowing her fear, Leah nodded, her voice almost shaky but firm. "Right. Make sure to gather first aid kits, water, and blankets. Those who can, check on the victims. We will do this together." Everyone seemed to move in synchrony, adrenaline surging through them. Leah grabbed a first aid kit from the diner and dashed toward the commotion, her mind racing. She spotted a family huddled together, faces pale and lost. A woman knelt with her arm around a young girl, sobbing quietly. "Excuse me," Leah said softly, crouching down to their level. "I'm here to help. Is there anything you need?" The woman looked up, her eyes wide and wet. "I don't know. My husband was in there and I can't find him." Leah's heart thudded painfully in her chest. "Okay, let's take a deep breath together. I'll stay right here with you." She pulled out a blanket from her kit, wrapping it around the little girl. "We will find him. I promise. You're not alone." Turning to the crowd, Leah raised her voice, steady and clear. "We need someone to find the paramedics. Please, if anyone can help locate them, we need to make sure they know about this situation. They're going to get everyone the help they need." A young man pushed through the gathering crowd, nodding to Leah. "I'm on it." He rushed off, determination in his steps. Leah glanced around, her heart swelling with pride. It felt like everyone was stepping up. It was a collective heart, beating stronger than any one person's fear. As time slipped by, Leah checked on the woman and girl often, providing comfort where she could. Each moment transformed her anxiety into a fierce resolve. They were building something, not just a bazaar, but a lifeline to pull each other up when the world came crashing down. Just then, a loud voice echoed through the chaos. "Is everyone okay? Where do we need to go?" It was Mr. Thompson, rushing into the scene with urgency in his stride. He looked around expectantly, his brows knit in concentration. "Leah!" he called out, searching for her through the frantic scene. "What can I do?" Her breath caught in her throat. It was one thing to lead a volunteer effort, but to be facing Mr. Thompson like this, his eyes steely yet warm, made her anxiety come roaring back. "Sir, we just need more hands to assist families and, if possible, someone to direct traffic for the ambulances." His commanding presence brought the scattered energies together as he quickly began issuing directions. "Step it up, everyone. Let's make sure we're organized. Leah, you're doing amazing. Keep it together." Leah felt a rush of affirmation at his words, empowering her even more. With Mr. Thompson's leadership and the community's strength combined, hope began to weave its way through the anxiety. But just as they began to establish some semblance of order, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. Heads turned in unison as the first ambulance screeched into sight, followed closely by a police car. The moment felt surreal, the tension palpable. Leah's heart raced again, not from fear this time, but from the weight of all their efforts consolidating into something that was finally being answered. But deep down, something told her this wasn't over. This moment had shown her the power of solidarity, but the aftermath of it, those connected hearts, would bring new challenges to navigate. As the sirens faded into the distance, Leah couldn't shake the feeling of unease. What would this mean for the community moving forward? Would they be able to hold on to this unity, or would it slip away like so many fleeting moments? She glanced at Mr. Thompson, who turned to her, a knowing look in his eyes that sparked questions Leah hadn't yet voiced. "What happens next, Leah?" he asked softly, his gaze steady. And in that questioning tone hung the hope and fear of the unknown future. Leah felt the weight of Mr. Thompson's inquiry settle like a stone in her stomach. The crowd buzzed around them, voices blending into a murmur of concern and activity. But all she could hear was the question echoing in her mind. What did happen next? As the first responders poured into the scene, Leah caught glimpses of familiar faces among the crowd. Her neighbor, Mrs. Harris, was the first to break through the noise, her face flushed with worry. "Do you think they'll be okay?" she asked, clutching her son's hand tightly. "I hope so. They're getting help now. Just hold on," Leah replied, forcing a brave smile that felt more like a mask. Mr. Thompson stepped closer, his presence grounding her. "Leah, let's gather everyone. We need to share information. Keep spirits up. It's crucial we stay positive." "Right," she said, swallowing her uncertainty. "Let's create a message board. We can write down what we know, any updates." As they worked together to set up a makeshift area for families to receive news on their loved ones, Leah's heart swelled with a sense of purpose. The pieces of their community came together. Students, parents, strangers unified by a common thread of hope. Suddenly, a loud scream pierced the air, chilling her blood. Heads whipped around as a man dashed towards the ambulance, hands flying in panic. "My brother! He was in the car. Where is he?" The crowd shifted uneasily. Leah's instincts kicked in again. "Someone go with him," she called out, hoping someone would have the courage to help the frantic man. A young woman stepped forward, her expression serious. "I'll go." As the chaos unfolded, Leah felt a surge of admiration for the bravery her community was showing. But inside, the weight of what they were navigating pressed against her heart. Despite their strength, what would happen in the days that followed? "Mr. Thompson," she began, turning back to him. "What do we do when everyone goes home? When the adrenaline fades?" His eyes softened, a flicker of understanding igniting. "Leah, that's when it's most important. We have to find ways to reach out, help each other. It doesn't stop here." The once flickering flame of uncertainty within her ignited into a blaze of determination. She envisioned gathering everyone, organizing support groups, therapy sessions. They needed a plan, something to keep those hearts connected, even after the storm passed. Just as she was about to share her thoughts, the loudspeaker crackled to life. "We need volunteers at the medical tent. If you can assist, please head this way." People around her began moving again, a new current of energy rippling through the crowd. Leah hesitated, torn between her desire to implement her ideas and the urgent call to action. "Leah!" Mr. Thompson's voice broke through her thoughts. "You're needed. Let's head over. We can discuss your ideas later." Nodding, she took a deep breath and moved into the throng. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown, driven by hope and worry intertwined. She joined the stream of volunteers, ready to lend a hand, grateful to be part of something bigger. But as she rushed forward, Leah became aware of a nagging fear in her heart, a worry that they wouldn't truly grasp the chaos they were facing until it was too late. What would happen when the initial surge of unity faded? The weight of the day's events lingered, and the shadows of tomorrow threatened to creep in. With every heartbeat echoing in her chest, Leah pushed forward, compelled to forge a path through the uncertainty. In the distance, she spotted the medical tent, a symbol of hope and healing. But within those walls lay stories yet to be uncovered, secrets entwined with every name written on a clipboard. "Will you be ready, Leah?" she whispered to herself, glancing back at Mr. Thompson. His unwavering gaze encouraged her forward. But as they stepped into the tent, Leah suddenly felt the tremors of a new urgency stirring deep within her. What would it mean when they began to uncover the truths hidden beneath the surface? The answers loomed, waiting like fragile embers lost in a storm. And Leah knew they were only beginning to scratch the surface of what this tragic day would bring. The inside of the medical tent was buzzing with activity. Medics were moving swiftly, their hands a blur as they attended to the injured. Leah's heart raced as she took in the scene, feeling the gravity of each life they were fighting to help. Over here! A voice called, pulling Leah out of her thoughts. It was a nurse gesturing to her. Can you help us with supplies? We're running low on bandages and antiseptics. Of course, Leah responded, her feet moving instinctively. She followed the nurse into a back room lined with shelves, but her mind was elsewhere, tangled in the emotions swirling around her. As she organized the medical supplies, glancing back at the patients being treated, Leah could see fear etched on the faces of families waiting outside, lingering by the entrance. Parents clutched each other, friends sobbed quietly, and uncertainty pulsated in the air like an electric current. How would they cope when the initial rush of adrenaline wore off? She remembered her conversation with Mr. Thompson, the plan she'd envisioned, and felt an urgency to make it a reality. They needed to turn this moment of crisis into a foundation for ongoing support. But how would she communicate that idea amidst the chaos? Leah, the voice of Mr. Thompson brought her back. He had appeared at the entrance of the room, breathless, his brow furrowed with concern. I need you to help organize a team for intake. We're getting more people in and resources are tight. Can you handle it? Absolutely, she replied, the strength in her voice surprising even herself. Just show me what to do. As they moved back into the tent, Leah saw a woman being wheeled in. Tears streamed down her face as she clung to the stretcher, her body trembling. The moment halted, the sights and sounds around Leah fading into a distant hum. In that instant, Leah's heart ached for the woman. The pain of loss, of fear, was palpable. Okay, Leah, focus, Mr. Thompson urged, his voice softening as he sensed her struggle. We need you here. A rush of adrenaline surged through her. Leah pushed aside her emotions, grabbed a neighboring medic by the arm, and articulated a plan. They divided responsibilities quickly, setting up a process that would aid swift communication between the intake team and the treating doctors. Minutes turned into hours as the line of injured grew. Leah lost track of time, fully engaged in the chaos, but also in the small moments of connection that formed between the staff and those in need. A comforting hand on a shoulder, a shared tear, and whispered words of hope circled around like threads stitching their community together. But as the last patient was finally given attention, Leah's heart sank again. The exhaustion in the air was heavy, but within her, a spark of resolve ignited. They needed more than just reaction. They needed a foundation, a network of support to lean on when they were all too weary to stand. When the last call for volunteers echoed through the tent, Leah took a deep breath and gathered herself. She stepped onto a makeshift platform, calling out to everyone present. Listen, this isn't just a moment. This is our community. We need to form a plan, to create spaces for each other to share grief and support each other moving forward. We can't let this slip away. The crowd looked up, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and hope. What would come next? Would they be brave enough to commit? Just as her heart began to race with anticipation, an unexpected shadow loomed at the back of the tent. A figure caught her attention, subtle but commanding. Leah squinted to get a better look. It was a man in a suit, someone she recognized but couldn't place in the chaos of the day. Why was he here? And why did he look as if he were contemplating something heavy, something important? Who is that? Leah whispered to a nearby volunteer. The answer could change everything. The tension in the tent shifted as Leah kept her eyes on the man in the suit. She felt a knot in her stomach. The whistle of the makeshift medical area fell silent, as everyone seemed to notice him too. The murmur of low voices blended into an undercurrent of anxiety. Is that... Leah started, but the volunteer shook her head, uncertainty clouding her face. I don't know. I haven't seen him before. The man stood against the backdrop of exhaustion and grief, his expression unreadable. She could see the tension in his jaw, the way he shifted his weight from one foot to the other. Something about him felt out of place, like he'd stepped into a scene he wasn't prepared for. Mr. Thompson squeezed through the crowd, his face pale. When he reached Leah, his eyes darted to the man. "We need to find out who he is and what he wants. This is our moment to rally the community, not for him to disrupt it," he whispered urgently. Leah nodded, her mind racing. She had thought this moment was about healing and building, but now it was becoming a tangled web of questions. "I need to talk to him," she said. Without another word, she started toward the man. Her heart pounded louder with each step, the crowd parting like water as she moved. "Excuse me," Leah called out, finding her voice despite the chaos surrounding her. The man turned slowly, surprised as he locked eyes with her. His deep-set eyes seemed to reflect everything that had transpired that day. "Hello," he said, his voice steady, as if he were accustomed to commanding a room with just his tone. "I'm here to assess the situation." Assess? This isn't a business meeting," Leah replied, her frustration bubbling to the surface. "People are hurting. They need support, not evaluations." "I understand," he said, maintaining his composed demeanor. "But you might not realize what's at stake, what this could mean for your community in the long run." "What do you mean?" Leah pressed, unsure whether she felt anger or curiosity. His calmness was unsettling. "I represent a foundation that might provide long-term support. But I need to see that this community can stand together first," he explained. "Do they believe you? Will they trust you to lead them?" Leah felt the weight of his question settle heavily on her shoulders, like the weight of the world. "They need to have faith. But it's hard when feelings are raw. They've lost so much." He nodded, seemingly unfazed by her emotion. "Exactly. They need to see strength here. You need to show them that amidst the chaos, you're the one to guide them through." She searched his face for vulnerability, for some sign that he genuinely cared about these people. "And how can I do that?" "Repeat after me," he instructed, his voice unfaltering. "I believe in our community." Leah blinked, taken aback. "You want me to just say it?" "Not just say it. Look into my eyes. Repeat it." Something about the way he demanded her gaze grabbed her. Was he testing her? Or was there a spark of sincerity beneath his tough exterior? She took a deep breath and locked eyes with him. "I believe in our community," she said, the words tasting foreign on her tongue, but also resonating with a flicker of hope. "Say it again," he urged, leaning slightly closer. "Look into my eyes." Making a decision, Leah straightened her back, holding his gaze like a lifeline. "I believe in our community." A collective hush fell, the words hanging in the air. She could feel the crowd shift, eyes widening as they caught her conviction. But would the man's presence alter the moment they were building, or could they take this and turn it into something greater? "What will you do next?" Leah thought, her heart racing as uncertainty loomed once again. The air in the tent felt charged, alive with anticipation as Leah stood firm, echoing the words that had just taken form in the space between them. She sensed the crowd's scrutiny, every gaze weighing her worth, every whispered concern about her leadership biting at her confidence. The man in the suit had set a challenge, elevating the stakes of the evening to a height she hadn't expected. She let the silence stretch, feeling the heartbeat of the community around her. They were watching her, waiting for something solid in their fractured world. "Did you all hear that?" Leah's voice rang out, breaking the tense hush. "I believe in our community. But do you?" The response wasn't immediate. A smattering of voices rose, almost hesitantly at first. "Yes!" came a call from the back, followed by others joining in, bolstered by the fire Leah had ignited. "I believe in our community," they echoed, growing louder, resonating with a sense of shared resilience that stirred something deep within Leah, a collective heartbeat against despair. The suit-clad man observed, a glimmer of something unreadable flitting across his face. "That's the spirit. You see, strength can be found even in the darkest of times, he said, his voice smooth but edged with authority. Leah felt herself torn between suspicion and a flicker of faith. Then what are you waiting for? Leah asked, braver now, stepping toward him. Show us what this support looks like. Real community help doesn't just come from a distance. It's built from shared moments. Real digging in and getting your hands dirty. Is your foundation ready for that? The man's gaze didn't falter. I can assure you our interest is genuine. Support comes in many forms. We can offer resources, but ultimately it is you who inspires the unity here. His words hung heavy in the space around her. Resources sounded promising, but Leah felt the skepticism from the gathered crowd, a mix of hope and doubt swirling together. She needed more than promises. She needed assurance they weren't just pawns in someone else's game. Then let's work together, Leah declared, her heart racing with newfound determination. Show us how to rebuild. Don't just evaluate. Get involved. If you really care, then act. As she spoke, the man's demeanor shifted slightly, his jaw tightening just enough for her to notice. Very well. I'll bring people willing to invest their time here, but it will rely on your ability to hold this momentum. A thrum of energy coursed through the crowd, excitement bubbling up. But was it enough? Leah glanced at Mr. Thompson, who nodded affirmatively, but worry still shadowed his brow. Let's not cling to empty hopes, Leah said, taking a step back to gather their attention again. This isn't a one-off moment. This has to be a commitment. We have to work hard every single day, not just when it's convenient for others. In that moment, Leah could hear the depth of resolve in her voice. She realized she wasn't just standing for herself but for everyone. Not just for rebuilding structures but for restoring spirits. For them to see each other again. Really see each other. Yes. The crowd began to echo, building together again, filling the tent with declarations of intent and solidarity. But then, just as the noise crescendoed, a shout came from the back, one that shifted the mood, bringing tension back. What if he's lying? Leah's heart sank again. Could they, after all this, be back at square one? The man fixed his gaze on the speaker, the probing heat of the moment raising questions in him even Leah couldn't answer. The future was still unwritten, and doubt loomed once more. Would their collective promise stand strong against challenges still to come? Do you believe it? The question burned in Leah's chest like wildfire, but her voice trembled slightly, fragile against the weight of uncertainty. As the crowd quieted again, Leah wondered if this was truly the beginning, or just another fleeting moment. She needed to dig deep and find the answer herself, before everyone lost faith yet again. And as she stared into the faces around her, she realized that the real test was just beginning. Would they keep believing, even when doubt tried to pull them apart? The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in oranges and pinks that felt almost like a farewell. Leah stood at the heart of the tent, her voice still reverberating in the charged air. The crowd's murmurs mixed with the ambiance of fading light, creating a tapestry of uncertainty and cautious hope. "Do you believe we can work together?" she asked again, her heart thumping with both fear and determination. The faces surrounding her were etched with worry, yet glimmers of trust shimmered in their eyes. It wasn't just about the man in the suit. It was about them, about every shared moment that had built this fragile but tenacious community. "Yes!" someone shouted from the back. Then another voice rose, and soon it was a chorus, a wave of conviction lifting the heavy atmosphere. Leah drank it in, every cheer serving as fuel for the fire of her resolve. "We may not be perfect, but we are strong together," she declared, urgency pushing forth energy through her words. "Let's harness this moment. We have the power to choose connection over division." As her words rang louder, she could feel the energy shift again. This time, it felt different, more unified. Mr. Thompson stepped beside her, his presence reassuring even amid the chaos. "Leah's right," he said, his authority resonating with the crowd. "We have faced darkness, but we choose to rise. I believe we can turn this tragic event into a catalyst for change." The man in the suit watched, maintaining a steady facade, but even he couldn't hide the slight nod of agreement. Something shifted within him, perhaps an acknowledgement of the community spirit he hadn't fully anticipated. "Let's make a plan," Leah called out, directing energy back to action. "We need to visit families impacted by this tragedy and see how we can support them. We also need to ensure everyone stays connected moving forward." With gathering nods and murmured affirmatives, Leah found her footing. "We will create neighborhood groups. We'll host meetings, not just to discuss what's happened, but to continually check on each other. We will not become shadows of grief. We'll transform it into strength." The crowd erupted. Enthusiasm invigorated as people began to rally together, couples discussing how to organize an outreach, friends vowing to help each other. Leah felt warmth envelop her, a relentless flicker of hope igniting into something glorious. It was exactly what she had envisioned. This was about building bridges between fears, not just patches on wounds. This was deeper, a promise that the community would remain present for each other even beyond the chaos. "Leah!" A voice broke through her thoughts, and she turned to find Tommy, the teenage volunteer, rushing up with wide eyes. "My aunt is really worried and needs to talk to someone about the accident, but she doesn't know where to go." Her heart twisted at the reminder of real people struggling with very real fear. "Let's get to her, Tommy. We can go as a group. Who else wants to help?" Hands shot up. The youth were eager, ready to lead the charge. Leah's heart swelled with pride. This was it. They were mobilizing. Just as they organized into smaller groups, Leah turned back to the man in the suit, her advocacy burning bright. "Are you in or out?" she questioned, her eyes locked with his. It was a challenge. She needed to know if he could step beyond mere words. "I will be here," he said, his resolve echoing back. "But you must remember, true change isn't just about the offers of support. It's about the will to keep your promise." Leah nodded, realizing the weight of his words. This wasn't just a commitment for the day. It would require enduring effort, a long journey of togetherness, and this would take all of them. As the evening drew near and darkness settled, Leah smiled at the gathered crowd. "Okay, everyone," she called out. "Let's hit the streets. We're not just a collection of people anymore. We're a family. Together we can turn the tides." And as they stepped into the night, there was a weight lifted, no longer carrying just shadows, but a fierce glow of collective promise. Waves of camaraderie washed over them. Laughter mingled with gratitude, hope glinting in their eyes. Together, they transformed pain into purpose, and in that moment, Leah realized they had indeed stepped beyond the flames. They had ignited a powerful fire that would lead them into a brighter tomorrow. In her heart, Leah knew resilience blossomed not just from survival, but from the unwavering spirit of community. They would rebuild, not just the diner or the bakery, but trust, pride, and connection that thrived against all odds. As they moved forward into the night, Leah felt an overwhelming sense of togetherness sweep through her, an electric charge of something far greater than she could have imagined just days before. They had united in the face of uncertainty, and now they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, hand in hand, heart to heart. This was their beginning, and together, they were unstoppable. Now is the time for you to join this amazing journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support makes all the difference in spreading the message of hope. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. We want to hear what you think. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Every share helps us build this incredible community. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.